Shut up and sit down.
Hello everyone, this is Tony Day, and I got something a little bit different this time. It's nothing to do with video. This is actually still photography because it's something I like to do for fun. I am definitely a hobbyist. I am not a professional photographer in any way, shape, or form. I like to do this for fun. For anybody who likes to do this either professionally or as a hobby, I think that you're going to find that this is a great sharpening technique that you can use for your own photos. So the two programs we're going to be using are Capture One and Photoshop. I believe you can do this technique in Capture One or in Lightroom or whatever raw conversion program you may want to be using. It's really up to you. As long as there's layering involved, I think you should be able to do what I'm showing you. So here we are in Capture One. I'm not really going to talk about how I did the coloring or anything like that. I'm just going to show you the sharpening, and we're going to first go into 1.1. And I'm going to turn the sharpening all the way down so you can see that it's not really the best focus. I mean, I missed, obviously. Could have been camera shake. I shot this at 200 millimeters on the Fuji X-T1 with the 55-200. It's not the sharpest photo, but we're going to try to sharpen this up a little bit because I do like the overall look of it. It just wasn't that sharp. So the first inclination for people, if the photo's not sharp, is to just go over to the sharpening tab and pull the slider way over to the right. You know, it's definitely sharpening everything up a bit, but it's also sharpening the background, and I don't want to do that. I just want to sharpen the subject, which is this lock, right? So I'm going to create a layer, and I'm going to use the brush tool, and I usually use a pretty wide brush with a fall off, and I'm going to paint a mask just around the thing that I want, okay? So when I do this, I'm only going to be affecting the zone that is masked. So then we're going to pull the sharpening up on this layer, and as you can see, it's not affecting the background, it's only affecting the subject or the area that I masked. So I'm just going to make this at 160, and we're going to call the sharpening on this one done. Now I could try to just do the full sharpening in Capture One, but I found that I just don't think the sharpening's the best in here. We're just trying to get enough sharpness information for Photoshop to use it for our next step. So I'm going to output this as a 16-bit TIFF so that I have a lot of color information just in case I want to do any changes to it as far as color goes in Photoshop, and we're just going to open up there. So here we are in Photoshop, and we are going to zoom in. We are going to do a bit more sharpening to this in this program. And I don't use, I guess, the typical ways that people use sharpening. I use a different technique, and I think it's a lot better for most stuff. I actually showed this to my brother who works professionally doing photo touch-ups and stuff, and he uses it all the time now. So we're going to go to filters, we're going to go other and high pass filter, and it'll bring up this menu. It turns everything gray, and you can play with this slider all you want, but I've found that for me, a radius of between 1 and 1.5 seems to work pretty well. And we're going to go with 1 for this. So it's going to be affecting the whole image, and remember, we just want to affect the subject. So we're going to create a masking layer, and we are going to invert it. So the only areas that are going to be affected will be what we paint white on that masking layer, okay? We're going to just start painting our subject, and as we paint it, you can see it turning gray. Don't worry, you didn't mess anything up. If you're doing this and following along, this is normal. So after it's painted, what you're going to do is you're going to select the main layer, and we're going to switch the way that it's being mixed to overlay. And we're going to turn this on and off here, and I'm not sure how well you can see the difference through YouTube, but the difference is huge, okay? Like, if you're doing this yourself and you're following along, you will notice a huge difference between on and off, okay? It makes a huge difference, and I think it sharpens up really, really well, pulling out the details that are hidden in that file. If it's not strong enough, if overlay just isn't sharpening enough for you for some reason, you can change it to hard light, and this should give you a stronger effect. And if overlay and hard light is too strong, you can choose soft light, and soft light gives a more subtle effect. And again, I don't know how obvious this is going to appear on YouTube, but in real life, this is a huge, huge difference in the way that the details are rendered in a print and in online if you're posting anywhere that can actually take the full res image. I think this is a great technique for really any photo where you want to pull details out and really make a crisp, sharp image. Some people might say it's a little too sharp, and I'd rather have it where I can take an unsharp image and make it too sharp rather than have it where, you know, it's just an unsharp image. I mean, you get the whole gamut. You can have it either unsharp, you can have it sharp, or you can have it over sharp. You really can do that really well with this technique, and I think it looks natural and it can be punchy and look awesome. Hope that you found this interesting or informative. I hope that you can use this in your photos like I do, and hope to see you next time.